There's this temptation to let the yay stuff, the yay meaning Y-E, yay, just to be clear, to let that stuff sort of take over everything, because it just seems so important somehow, because it really is extraordinary. It's something I don't think I'm going to talk about too often unless I have something to say about it, which should be my attitude towards everything. Actually, if I don't have something to say about it, I probably shouldn't talk about it. Well, I do have something to say about Ye's campaign, if we want to call it that. What do we call it? Is it a campaign? Is it a political campaign? Is it performance art? There's so many things that spring to mind as a way to categorize what he's doing right now, but none of them really accurately or fully cover what it is that he's doing. If we look at it as a campaign, as a political campaign, which it ostensibly is, if he's really running for president in 2024, then I think that the tendency is to say, "Oh, how surreal and grotesque." This is what the normies say. This is what the trained normies say. This is what the mainstream media says. This is what the brainwashers and opinion shapers say and want us to say. Oh, how grotesque! Oh, how surreal to see this all unfold before our eyes. Like this is something. This is what you call a political campaign. But then the clever normie thinks to himself, well, hold on a second. What is politics today? What are political campaigns really like today? If we looked at them, if we were permitted to look at them, if we were given the kind of insight into them that's now being shown upon Ye's political campaign, again, if we want to call it that. Calling it that is inaccurate. It doesn't do justice to the fullness of whatever it is, but let's just call it that for convenience sake. If we look at actual politicians doing actual campaigns, what is more grotesque? What is more surreal? What is more discomforting? What is more nauseating? What is more unnatural than that? Think of how the typical politician comes before the media, comes before the population, whether in a debate or in some televised appearance or whatever. How he always is careful to frame things in a certain way, to use certain words but not other words, to parse his words carefully, to spin things, parse and spin, parse and spin. This is what we see and we call it normal. This is what we see and we call it acceptable. When we look at Ye, on the other hand, and what he's doing right now, there's no parsing. There's no mincing of words. There's no spinning. There's no attempting to get the vote, the whatever category of vote by saying X or Y or Z. In fact, if this were a real campaign, the campaign manager would have his head in his hands right now. As soon as Ye mentioned Hitler, and that's the thing. Who saw that coming? I didn't see that coming. I didn't think when he goes on InfoWars, he's gonna talk about how much he loves Hitler, but really he loves Jews also. But everybody has good qualities throughout history, especially Hitler. Especially Hitler. Did you see that coming? I don't think there was a single person in the world who saw that coming, who wasn't shocked by that. Now, why did he do it? I don't know. I know people will be dismissive and just say he's doing this stuff that he's doing just because he's got a screw loose because he's not taking his meds. or whatever, all the dismissive things that they said. But I am not dismissive towards Ye, and I wouldn't be dismissive towards him even if I disliked him, which I don't. I used to dislike him. You know, back in the aughts, back in the between the time that he said George Bush doesn't care about black people and the time when he humiliated Taylor Swift at the Video Music Awards, I thought, what an ass. I wrote, I was on Facebook back then before I got perma-banned, and I think I actually wrote something like, he's just trying to start a race war. Is that so wrong? I was very critical of Gay at the time, and just thought he was an idiot. I didn't see the trajectory of where he went. I didn't see the trajectory of the world. Who did? Who saw the world becoming what it has become over the last decade or so, over the last half decade in particular? So, bringing us back up to the present, with Ye running for president, first step out of the gate. First, he says he's going to go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people, and loses his fortune or much of it, and then he goes on InfoWars and says he loves Hitler. None of us saw this trajectory coming. Ye is not predictable. Okay, I didn't think when the White Lives Matter T-shirt thing, when he did that with Candace Owen, I thought, ooh, well, that's pretty edgy. That's he's stepping out on a limb there. This is a little edgy even for Ye. But of course, this also manifests the ridiculousness and absurdity of politics today, because saying white lives matter shouldn't be controversial. Saying all lives matter shouldn't be controversial. But because of politics, it's controversial. And as Ye himself so brilliantly put it, seeing a white person wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt is normal. Seeing a black person wear a White Lives Matter shirt is thought of as abnormal. So in a way, he was just doing the same, making a corresponding gesture to what white liberal virtue signaling types had been doing when they've been wearing their Black Lives Matter gear, which was a brilliant point. So I didn't see it going from White Lives Matter to DEFCON 3 on Jewish people to I love Hitler. Didn't see that trajectory at all. But here's the thing, they can't ignore him because he's one of the biggest celebrities in the world. And he's been a huge celebrity for years, for decades. So they can't just ignore him. And that's part of what makes this also interesting. It's not like if you had somebody, which I think is actually the truth. I think there's some guy living in Nebraska or Ohio or someplace like that who says he's the real Pope. That the one sitting in the chair, occupying the seat in Rome, that he's an imposter, and this guy in Ohio or Nebraska or Wisconsin or wherever it is the real Pope. Someone like that can be just dismissed as a crank, even though for all I know, maybe he's right. For all you know, maybe he's right. But he's not. But since he hasn't been a huge celebrity for 2 decades, we can just all ignore him and just think of him as a crank and be dismissive and just go on with our lives. But the thing about being dismissive of Ye, which all the media is doing right now, and a lot of people are doing right now, oh, he's just crazy, oh, he's just bipolar, he just needs to take his meds. You can say all those things till your face is blue. But once you're done saying those things, there's still Ye. He's still there. And he's still getting attention. So let me just conclude this mildly rambling uh, monologue here, because I don't want this to go on too long. But here's what it's all about. Ye, I think, whether intentionally or not, I don't know what's intentional and what isn't. I think he's brilliant in some ways, and in other ways he just doesn't. He's just sort of winging it. So I don't think it's all contrived or all premeditated on his part. But I think effectually what he is doing, in part, not in whole, because there's much more to it than that. But in part, in significant part, what he's doing is showing actually how grotesque and repulsive actual politicians are and actual politics is, because he's being a politician and saying all the things that a politician shouldn't say, wouldn't say, would never say. But he's also speaking from the heart, it really seems like, which is the very opposite of what you see with what we call normal politics, where everything is contrived, everything is crafted, everything is premeditated, everything is focus grouped, and that's what we call normal. That's what we think of as healthy. That's what we think of as somehow representative of cultural health, when it's the very opposite. It's repulsive, it's disgusting, it's grotesque. And what Ye is doing is the opposite of that, because Ye is not premeditated. Ye is not focus grouped. Ye is not just saying things that to appeal to certain interest groups. And so, in so doing, he's in fact highlighting everything that is wrong with politics and with politicians today. Just my thoughts. Leave your thoughts below if you judge them to be interesting enough to share, and I will also be the judge of that. Although I'll probably let it pass, even if it's not. Share your thoughts. Thanks for watching.